Hey there everyone, Shadow here, and welcome back to the channel. So as I'm sure you guys can tell, there's a few new things going on here. A, I have a new camera, which the camera is not new. I shouldn't say it's new, it's actually fairly old. That's why you keep getting these random, like, it's trying to refocus the, like, lens and whatnot. So every now and then if the video blurs, it's just the camera being old and derpy. I'm gonna get a new camera sooner or later, you know, when I have some spare money. And B, I got a new headset, so hopefully there's no more static noises. I've also swapped to using strictly OBS now because of, you know, me doing the camera overlay and whatnot. Like Play TV had that option, but it wasn't a great option. This one I can resize the, you know, video of the camera and whatnot. Anyhow, guys, sorry I haven't posted anything in about 2 weeks now, a little bit over 2 weeks. To say the least, guys, I got into a car accident. Now, both parties are okay, like nobody got hurt. I mean, I have some shoulder pain on this side, like I can't raise this arm too much. I have like seatbelt bruising all across my chest still. I mean, it'd be amazed how like, and I like none of my airbags went off. Like nothing major really happened to my car. She did total my car, which sucks. But her SUV was a lot worse than my Lincoln. Her airbags went off and this and that. But so she's probably hurting a little bit more than I am. I think mine's mainly just like the seatbelt, you know, grabbing at me and kind of getting shook around a bit. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing, guys. You'd be amazed at how many people start calling you when you make a claim and this and that. And sadly, nothing against my insurance company, but they did zero, like they did nothing at all to help me, more or less. Like I had to end up turning my car over to the tow company and just paying lot fees and this and that. Like it was a bad time. It's been rough. I'm trying to shake that off now though, and I'm trying to come back to YouTube with a better sight of what I want the channel to be and this and that. It's still gonna be me just playing games and, you know, doing whatever. So but yeah, with that being said, Transport Fever, I love this game. It's not older. It's, well, you know, really I'm not sure when it came out or how long it's been since it came out. But I picked up Train Fever before this, and I loved that game. And this is essentially the second version of this game. Instead of just having trains in inner cities, like buses and this and that, you now have boats, you now have planes. You have all this cool stuff that goes on with it. But we're going to be starting up a new game here. And I'm just going to play as the U.S. We're going to play on medium. We're going to start in 1850. I'm gonna have some. I don't like playing on flat terrain because I feel it's too cheesy then. And then we're gonna have a medium world, and we're just gonna start this up. Hopefully this will load somewhat fast. See, it gets caught up in between loading. But as we load in here, you know, I'll talk a little bit more about the game. You know, essentially, there's kind of like two different ways you can start off this game. You can try to do passengers, or you can try and do like the more industrial side. I typically tend to go for the passenger side of things, which is, you know, connecting cities and making your money that way. I mean, I will be doing both in this game, just because sooner or later you do need to do industrial to help your city expand a little bit more. Industrial seems to pay a little bit more in the beginning. But, you know, we'll see what we have when we get in here. You know, I'm not 100% sure what we'll have to start with. Alright, so, yep. And according to, you know, this game, the U.S. was nothing but desert. Now, I get a little bit of a frame loss when I zoom out, so we're just going to look around here. Milwaukee, Anchorage, St. Louis, Toledo. Actually, I don't think that's Toledo, but you know, whatever. Bakersfield, Cleveland. Yeah, I kind of live in Ohio, so yeah. We're gonna go with Cleveland. We're gonna go with Cleveland and Bakersfield, just because I live in Ohio, and even though I used to live in Florida before I lived in Ohio, I gotta represent Cleveland at some point in my life. Don't get me wrong. I love the Cleveland Indians, but yeah. So doesn't seem like we got a huge. I mean, if I get this is where the game gets a little bit laggy when you stare it off into the edge of the map. I'm just trying to see what the. So it's somewhat flat terrain between Bakersfield and Cleveland. Now, let's see. Yeah, we're gonna do that, and I'm just going to try and figure out a great position for the trains stations. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, as you can see, like out here, the train station sits out in the open. Or, you know, it sits on top of the land. When you try and do like the road connection, you see it sinks into the land, which makes it cost more. So normally when I'm building the train station, I will like legit sit there and try and find a good position for it, and then I'll just build the roadways to it sooner or later. Because the city kind of builds around your like the train station itself. I'm trying real hard to find a like decent position to put this in. I'm thinking like right out here in about that angle, because I want to leave enough room to where we'd have to go all the way around this mountain. But yeah, trying to leave it to where I can, you know, sooner or later upgrade the train station and this and that. So we're gonna put the train station more or less on the outskirts at kind of an angle right about there. Now let's get over here and see what Cleveland looks like. Now Cleveland is obviously very, very small, which is going to be actually good for Bakersfield, because people won't want to go over to Bakersfield for shopping and whatnot, because they probably have more stuff over there. Oh, is there any? Okay, so Houston is down there. So how I'm going to want to angle this train station is I want to look at, for future reference, I would like the train station to be over. I want the track to be angled slightly. So that way, and boom. And then we just hook these up to the main road. We'll get the main road kind of get a little bit of a straightaway, so that way I can just pop this here. And then we'll just stop it. There we go. It's not perfect, but now it shouldn't take long before houses and whatnot start to build down here. I don't know. Okay, so we got a little bit of housing, but that won't be a problem, because I'll show you guys a way around the initial housing. And then we got to do the same thing over here. We got to get a road that stretches past this, hook this up, and then I'll just kind of like hook this more circular. Give me the more circular option. Oh, I guess I'll just. There. All right, cool. And this should have a little bit of influence, but not a lot. Now the way around this, where you could get some more influence, or essentially how you drag more people into this, is sooner or later houses and whatnot will be built down here, so people will like, you know, actually like that in walking distance. But what I like to do is I like to just throw literally a bus stop right next to the train station. And we'll continue down a more even path here, so more or less this side of the road. We'll stick with that side of the road. And then we'll do a bus stop down here. And then we'll throw one here. Now, sooner or later, you know, once these roads get more connected and it expands a little bit more, you'll have to redo your layout. But kind of a circular option, more or less. Not perfect, but that's how I like to do it. And same thing over here. Start here. We'll put one here on this side of the road. Now this is obviously a very small town, so we'll do this one here. And then he'll just come back down this road. Or he should. Yeah, you know, just to be safe, we'll make him come down this road. So 3 bus stops there, 3 bus stops here, or 4 in this one because Bakerfield's a little bit, actually 4 and 4. Not, I'm not counting the actual stop at the train station was what was up there. But all right, now we gotta we gotta actually build our track before we build anything else. Because obviously inner city transport doesn't work too well if you only have, you know, nothing for it to link up to. And I like to build in short segments of track because, I mean, yeah, I could sit here and let it auto path and do this and that, but you can kind of see if I don't, you know, spend all my money. See all this? This is stupid. You're paying a lot more money for this height that you don't need. So essentially, if you build your track segments in smaller pieces, you don't pay nearly as much as you would for like the elevation changes and this and that. But we're just gonna keep pushing this down, and once we get hooked up, we'll be good. Alright guys, so I now have the track segment set up, which I had to do a little bit of a lull. Like I started noticing I had to make a left hand before I could really curve it in there. But now that we have that set up, we're just going to set up what I like to call like a little train depot area. And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try and avoid this city as much as I can. And I actually want this coming off the train track like that. And this obviously costs a little bit of money to make, but and if I could essentially get it to do the same thing. That's not what I want. I can get it to do the same thing here. Too much curvature. Alright, let's see if I can extend this a little bit more. And see about building right next to it. Jeez, how far back do I need to go? See, it's trying to get it to like loop, which I don't want. The idea is obviously to have these two tracks combined into one. I might be able to just build it off of this. See, I kind of want to look a little bit more even. Yeah, that'll work. We're not going for complete perfect here. And then now that that's set up, I like to get my train depot. And now we have more or less essentially the train can either, you know, if any of the trains need to come to the depot, they can go either way down the line to get back to the depot. So that's why I did that. But now that we have that set up, we can actually move on to getting a bus depot built, or the ground depot. And you can actually kind of like make this. Trying to like raise the road so much, so we're going to do it somewhere else apparently. Keep it like near the train station though. Boom there. And we'll do the same thing over here. Yep, that's good. Alright, so now that we have that set up, the biggest thing we want to buy first is I'll do probably well, first we want to get the line set up. We'll do the line first. So when it comes to me, I like to color code my lines. So I normally use dark green for inner city lines, and let me just, okay, so this was Cleveland, obviously. I like to name my lines depending on what city they are and their function. So Cleveland line to train station. And then we'll just go around and we'll add all these stops. So we start at Mill Street, go down to 15th Street, go to Ash Street, and come back, and there's more or less your circle. I kind of wish, you know, he went down and like did a U-turn, but I'm not gonna cry too much. Because as far as I know, I don't think there's any way. Maybe I'm actually incorrect here. Let's see. Alright, so it's not like really he's not really doing a U-turn, but it would simulate a U-turn as far as my mind goes. I actually forgot they added waypoints for the streets. See, I'm so used to playing Train Fever, and they didn't have a lot of these functions. But alright, that will be our inner city for Cleveland. Then we gotta come down here and do the same thing for Bakersfield. Get a new line. Rename it Bakersfield to train. For some reason the I. Oh, okay, no. Yeah, I was like, why is it? Anyhow. To train station. Enter on that. Change the color to dark green. And there we go. And then we'll do the same thing. Start at the train station. Go down here. Go here. Go here. And that one's more of like a perfect circle. So we now have our inner city set up. Let's get our actual Cleveland to Bakersfield line set up. And I like dark blue for that, so Cleveland to Bakersfield. Alright, so we have everything set up here. Now we just gotta start getting our horse. I'm gonna get about 4 horse carriages per line for right now. And I am going to actually tab out, so I'm gonna pause it real quick and open up this. Get this set up. Let's see. Alright, so the reason I tabbed out is because in game you can't do this. You can't cut and paste. You can't cut and paste words. So it makes it just a whole lot easier when you're trying to name stuff to just have it set up to where I can just literally go through these and do it like that and rename them quicker just by, you know, literally cutting it in there and then spacing, you know, doing a number. At least for me, that's how I look at it. And yeah, like I said, we're only gonna get about 4 per line right now. Now these lines are gonna take some time to like essentially, you know, start up with money, like actually bringing money in. But once they do, they normally bring it in, you know, relatively quickly. So once again, 4 vehicles. Remain that one. And we're gonna make sure to Baker. We're just gonna set. Oh, actually, let me grab all these, and then we're gonna just set them out to work already. We got 3. And we got 4. Now, unlike the previous game, these guys will actually space themselves sooner or later. And what I mean by that is they'll actually, like right now they're all clumped together. The AI will kind of take over. See how that guy's not going right now? they're going to start spacing themselves out, which is actually really neat because in the old game, in Train Fever, they'd just stay clumped together. There would be no spacing, so you'd have to like almost time it. Like I used to have to sit there, let them sit in the depot for X, then shove them out the depot, and I had to do that for every single one until I had like a certain spacing. And as you can see, that guy's going a completely different street. So they auto space now, which is incredibly helpful. But now we have both the inner city working. We need an actual train for these people to start transporting between. So the only one we have available at 1850 is the Baldwin, which the Baldwin's good on flat land, to say the least. The Baldwin is absolutely terrible at any uphill motion because, and we'll just call this Baldwin Express, because yeah, going uphill and dragging the passenger cars with it like slows down to like 8 miles per hour or something really slow, and it only goes 25. But we want to leave ourselves with just enough money to where we're not going to be broke, because like I said, it takes time for the train to start actually noticing. It takes time for the people to start noticing the train line. But we can hold 42 passengers, which I feel is decent. And now we just fast forward and we wait for the train line to actually start taking some sort of effect. But this is the other reason I love this game. Just like, look at the detail. I mean, it doesn't, like, I have my graphics, I think, set to ultra. Let's actually, turn it down to pause. And you can get a good look. The train driver on this one's a little bit derpy, but I mean, you can sit here and just take in everything as the train goes. This game for me, as much as I rage over games half the time, this game is legit zen. There's nothing that could piss me off in this game, to say the least. Like, I love trains. And maybe it's just a 90s thing. If you grew up in the 90s, you know what I'm talking about with, like, Thomas the Tank Engine and, like, JJ the Jet Plane. Now, if you watch Barney, you're probably a serial killer by now, but, that's just me. But no, like, legitimately, I love trains. I've always had this weird fascination with trains, and you put that inside of a Tycoon game, and I absolutely love it. I don't know why. I was looking at the mile per hourage there, and I was like, man, is he really not going to go over 18 with only 3 cars? I swear there's no hillage there, is there? See, this is the thing you gotta kind of take into account, is how fast your train is. Now, this train should be doing, 25, but it's not. It's only doing about 18 to 19 max. And I don't know if it's because there's gotta be some kind of like hillage here, even though to me it looks like, and we're making money. Starting to make money. That's all passenger icon light up. Okay, now he's back to 20. Okay, so seems there's a little bit of hillage back there to where the train wasn't able to go full speed. Looks like it can go about full speed towards the end of Bakersfield. And we already got a passenger, which another one coming in. Say at least is a good start. Now I kept the train lengths 160, just because sooner or later you'll have that big of trains. I mean, I probably could have saved myself some money by not building the 160 meter platform, but yeah, as you can see, it's definitely, obviously is going back downhill here because it's just max speed all the way. So a little bit slow coming to Cleveland, or Cleveland coming to Bakersfield, but Bakersfield to Cleveland is a faster line because that little guy is just chugging at max speed. Now, obviously, sooner or later, I'm going to be replacing the Baldwin with the General when it first comes out, but at this point, I need to make money. Right now, I have a good amount of money that is negative. Now, you start off with a loan of 2 mil that you have to pay as well. That's the other thing. You know, we're paying loan interest every year. So the game starts. You start off with 2 mil, but you start off with 2 mil because you have a loan. So, and we got 17 people. So this is where you start making money. Well, like I said, it takes them a minute to recognize the train line, but now that the train line is being recognized and the intercity transport drops them off right there, so pretty much anyone from over here will use your intercity line to get to the train station. They'll also obviously sit there and you know, they'll use it to, like, let's say a guy over here wants to go shopping over here, so you know, sooner. Wow, we are in the hole. We're in the hole right now, but wait, I'm not gonna worry because I know sooner or later the train, once it gets its little happy self over here, the train is your biggest money maker because the train charges. See, I know, is it the carriage that's... Or is it the extra on? I'm trying to... Oh, okay, you gotta go here. So the ticket prices per kilometer are $529, which that's absolutely insanity. And for the train, gotta actually click on this, finances, charts, vehicles. It's 1.46K per kilometer. So obviously your train's making a lot more money. There we go. So we made 70K on that run. Like I said, we're gonna be a little bit in the hole for a little bit until we start picking up. Like right now, all these people that came in off the train, they're gonna be using the bus stops. So it's a process, to say the least. It takes time to regenerate your money. But now that we have everything set up, it's just going to be running back and forth, getting the money, and yeah, that's about the basics of the beginning game. Now, normally I'm not this far in the hole in the beginning of the game. For whatever reason, this is taking me a little bit longer to generate income. It's probably because this is a little bit of a bigger distance. I normally would have chose something a lot closer, but you know, it is what it is. I have faith that the red will go away. It's just you gotta get up to the fact where your train line gets being used so much, like you have, like, you know, this is 42 out of 42, and that's a lot of money per run. Yeah, we're at 100K. So we're at 65 there. It's like 65 a run. The inner city needs to start making more money, essentially. They're not making enough money. Like I said, the Bakersfield is about the closest thing to being positive. If I had money, I would essentially get... Maybe I should have started with 5 force carriages. Once again, I'm not too worried because sooner or later, I mean, you can see more and more people are walking to the train station. The carriages are bringing in more people. It's just the fact of the train needs to get to that full capacity, and it should start outdoing its run cost. Right now, it's not outdoing its run cost. It's... See, the train itself is running about 164 a year, and it's not making that. Now, see, you can see here it almost made that. But once again, it's just the pure fact of there's not enough people. I'm not transporting enough bulk to where the train is covering its own self. But we're getting there. We are going to get there, I promise. It's just, like I said, the train needs to pick up more people. Right now it's dropping off 20, but it's picking up 25. Still kind of in the hole. But as you can see, the train is now technically making money. well, was making money technically. And Bakersfield to the train station is starting to make money as well. Cleveland train station. See, Cleveland's such a small town right now. Until it starts expanding, the inner side of this isn't going to be generating a lot of money. We have 25 people over here. So we're going to let this run for a little bit, and we're going to try and see if I can get out of the hole right now. I know it will happen. Sooner or later, I will get out of the hole. It's just, right now, it's taking a minute. Alright, guys. So it did take me a little bit to get to where... But I'm not essentially staying green so much. As you can see here, I'm staying green as far as money goes. I'm making money every year, which is a good thing. You're not losing any money. But I finally got to the point that it's somewhat staying green. It's not like once this train gets back down there, it should be a little bit better. The train is also now getting to the point that it's doing full runs every single time. Now see here, I'm cutting it close. I'm cutting it really close. When this train stops, what I'm gonna end up doing is the inner city is actually starting to have like, not so much Cleveland, because Cleveland's so small, but Bakersfield is starting to have a lot more passengers. So I'm gonna add maybe about 2 more cars to that. And my train should actually hit this station before I go negative again. Now, so as you can see, I have done absolutely nothing to any of the lines. I haven't added any new trains. I haven't added any new cargo, but I have come back from being negative. Now, I'm pretty sure there's an achievement to like never go negative. Maybe. I don't actually recall. But the train is essentially now making money. You know, it's about 42 people every single time the train comes back and forth. I'm just gonna get like maybe 2 more in Bakersfield just to kind of compensate because Bakersfield's bigger and it has more traffic. Or I should say foot traffic. So that was 6. And the other bigger thing is that Bakersfield now the frequency is lower, which means the lower your frequency, the more people are like, because some people want cheap, some people want fast mode of transport. Like every person has their own preference. Like if I click, there we go. Why you gasping? Yeah, move preference fast. They don't want to wait forever, to say the least. And everybody has kind of their own cheap. This guy wants cheap. I think really there's only cheap and fast, if I'm not mistaken. Fast. Cheap. I think there's only cheap and fast as of right now. There might be something. There might be like electric or something later on in the game. But yeah, we are getting there finally. We are getting positive. We're staying positive. And like I said, now we got some more carriages over at Bakersfield. So, because Bakerfield's going to be my main money maker right now. With it being the biggest town on the map? I don't know, Anchorage is actually now outdoing Bakersfield. But with Bakersfield being one of the biggest towns, it's going to be our main money maker. This actually will sooner or later turn into a hub station probably. Because I'm going to probably link this up to Bakersfield. And probably even link up some of these other ones to Bakersfield. So Bakerfield's kind of be our like center hub. Now, as far as Cleveland goes, I'll probably link that up just to Houston, and then have another line running from Houston to Bakersfield, probably even along the same track. See, that's when dual tracks come into play. And on here, they've also even added terminals, which, if I'm not mistaken, when you go to upgrade it, like I could have number of tracks 2. But then I could have like terminal 2 just as a bypass lane and stuff like that. So we'll get into that later in the game. Right now we're doing pretty good considering, you know, all the little upgrades and whatnot. But yeah, we are staying positive. Like I said, they're probably, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's an achievement for like never going bankrupt. Well, we'll see. Like I said, I haven't played this game in a long time. and right now we're at least making money. That was my main goal, was to make money, and we are actually making more money now because the carriages are, you know, picking people up faster, they're dropping them off faster, and yeah. So we're doing good so far, guys. I'm pretty happy with, you know, this being the first episode of Transport Fever. I want to say Train Fever because I'm so used to Train Fever. But, all right, guys, I am going to actually call it for this episode. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And we'll do that next one. All right, guys, I'll catch you later.